Hello everybody, it's Suffolk
Amy.
and Suffolk Andy here. Amy will explain what this video is about, so I'll hand it over to you, Amy.
Alright, so given that you've got a lot of experience with the paranormal and I'm kind of dipping my toes into it, and potentially a lot of you guys will have had some kind of paranormal experience, but even if you haven't, this will be quite an educational video for you. I've put together a list of common misconceptions about ghosts or spirits or the paranormal, and I'm basically going to tell you them and let you tell them what is the sort of correct or more sort of standard approach to these things.
I'm ready for this.
So, yeah? Ready to go off?
I'm ready to go off, yes.
Alright, so the first one is that ghosts don't know that they're dead.
That's wrong, okay? Some ghosts don't know they're dead, but a lot of I would say the majority of them do know they're passed over. So yeah, that's a misconception if you think they all think they're still alive. It's not true.
The next one is that all negative spirits are demons.
No, that's not true. That's not true. If you think about people in life, a good person or a bad person, just because they pass over doesn't make them instantly good. It doesn't. So say you was doing a night of clairvoyance and you brought somebody over and you said, oh, I've got a person here who's lovely, they talk, and his name's Jim and he's such a nice lad, but in life he swore like a trooper, drunk like a fish, and was an arsehole. He would come over as an arsehole because then people would then realise that was him. So going back to the question, with the demons, right, most ghost hunters have never encountered a demon. And I can assure you, in my experience, if you encounter a demon, you pack up, put your gear together, and you leave.
You run.
You
get out.
run. Because if you really want to interact with a demon, they will bugger up your life, or they can do. Okay? But saying that, it makes me laugh when I watch YouTube videos, and every single video they do, there's always a demon. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. And I know one or two other ghost hunters who will say, tell me where there's a demon, and I'd like to go because I've never seen one or interacted with one. Mm-hmm. So it is pure, utter bullshit.
The next one is that spirits can just manifest. They can just choose to appear in their full form, clear as day, and they can just do it like on command.
Not really. Some can. It's all according about energy. It's all to do with energy. I should imagine that you've all seen that somebody's using a camera and the batteries go, or a recorder and the batteries go, because they can take that energy and use that energy to manifest themselves or to talk or whatever. So it's all to do with energy. And there is a theory that as the years go by, the energy decreases. Like Silvery Towers, hasn't been used for 500 years, not a lot of activity being recorded there, because over the years the activity has faded away. So no, they can't just appear without energy. And that's one of the big stories that, as paranormal investigators and everything else, we've got to look into more, is to try and find out how they use energy. It's all to do with that energy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might see them like appearing even in parts or as like mists because they can't fully get there, but they'll try and show you something.
Sometimes you'll see an apparition, you'll just see their feet.
Yeah.
Or you'll see from their head to their waist. You know, all this sort of stuff, and it's all to do with energy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This one is that they are only tied to one specific location, whether that's where they lived or where they died.
No. You go back to the three sorts of hauntings. One is an intelligent haunting, right? The other one is a residual haunting, or the other one is a poltergeist or a noisy ghost. If you can imagine, at 12 o'clock every 10 years, on the top of the castle, a grey lady walks down the castle, right? That is residual. She's stuck there. If you went and stood right in front of her, she wouldn't know you was there. She'd go right through you. She doesn't have any interaction at all. It's like a tape playing all the time. Intelligent, they're the ones that answer you back, and like we deal with, you can have interaction and whatever. Now, most spirits are connected to a place or a battlefield or something like that. That can be quite a big area. But they're going to frighten you now a little bit, I think, because they are roaming spirits. I truly believe this, and I think they roam the place, and if they can get in anywhere, they will. If they find a weakness in somebody's personality or how they're feeling, they can come in and cause chaos. I won't get into it because I've got a theory on suicide on this. So I say that works. So no, they're not confined to one space. One set are. Another set can have a bigger area. And you also have got to be very aware that you can have an attachment and they can follow you home and be on you for quite a long while until you get rid of them. So yeah, just be a bit careful. Yeah.
This next one is that intense poltergeist activity like you see in horror movies or some more questionable TV shows and things is common. That's commonplace to have that kind of, throwing everything across the room. No. Tables are levitating.
No. If you notice on a lot of these shows on YouTube and whatever, every investigation is more crazy than the next, and the next is crazier and crazier and crazier. They have to, because they want your views.
Yep.
They're not going to go out and do an investigation. It's nothing. They go, oh, we had nothing. To a little while ago, I used to watch quite a few paranormal channels basically. Yeah. And I have been watching another chap, I'm not going to mention his name of his channel, but he debunks, and he's shown me quite a bit how this activity is done, fishing wire and all this sort of stuff, a lot of trickery. Example, they're in a house and a door slams in front of them. They go crazy, look at that door, and go mental. And they run to the door and they chuck it open and they run into the room with their camera and they look straight over at the far corner.
Yep.
Then they'll look over at that corner and then they go, oh, behind the door. And they go behind the door and there's nothing, because that person who slammed that door had time just to walk out while they were doing the filming everywhere else.
You don't see behind the camera.
They never, if you notice, they never burst the door open first and go straight behind the door.
The logical place to
place to go, yeah. But they don't. They always go far corner, that corner, then behind the door, because that person has just walked out.
Yeah.
And I've seen it where I see some, only last week, I'm not going to mention any channels here, but a guy had a pair of step ladders, and they were moving like this, and he was going absolutely crazy. My God, look at this, what activity, But this guy I was talking about earlier slowed down the film, done it bit by bit. You can clearly see on the bottom of the step ladder fishing wire. So somebody around the corner was pulling it. Now I've seen that, and the guy who done it, I thought was one of the best paranormal investigators in America. I can't even stomach to watch his channel anymore because he's a fake. Because they need your views, they need those adverts, and that's how they make a living. 80% are frauds. Okay?
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that, because it's a dangerous subject.
Yeah, so yeah, that kind of intense poltergeist activity is not that common in real life.
No.
This one's very personal to you, actually.
Go on in.
And that's that psychic mediums can predict the future.
This is a tough one. No. I have done mediumship for many, many years. All sorts of people, you name it. I don't think I've ever, in that time, got up and been like Gypsy Rose Lee and told somebody that in 3 months' time, 4 months' time, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. Because I've never had them messages, I don't believe it. Spirit can give you a small feeling of a direction that you should go on something. If you've got a problem, they will say they should try this or try that, but the actual future is only in your hands. It's you who make the future, not spirit. There's a fraudulent, I'm trying to be very diplomatic here. There's a fraudulent spiritual medium in Ipswich. I know he is. Oh, I said him. So you know it's a man now. He said he could predict if your wife or husband was going to leave you in the future. Bullshit. And people fell for this.
It's just money grabbing.
They paid him to find out if their wife was going to run off with the dustman or with the milkman. You know what I mean? It's absolute bullshit. Yeah. So no, they can't. They can give you an inkling of what direction to go, but they're never going to tell you your future. Okay?
Yeah, it's like, because I recently got into doing tarot cards, and I know that from reading tarot cards, the sense of future that it gives you is this will happen if nothing changes, which is very unlikely because there are so many variables in life and so many things that can change the course that you're on, that your future could change tomorrow, could change in 5 minutes, because you could choose to do something differently, or someone could walk in and change your entire life around. So the future is something that's not very concrete anyway. It's a very abstract concept. So
the future is what you make it.
Yeah.
It's your decision. Nobody else's, and nobody in spirit is going to give you your future. Trust me. So if somebody offers you that for money or whatever, tell them to get lost, because they're just being fraudulent. Okay?
Yeah. Tell them, I see the future. The future is that I'm not giving you my money. That's what the future is. This one gets me going as well, and that's that Ouija boards can be safe if used correctly.
Yeah, I always tell everybody that using a Ouija board is bad news. Like, don't do it. It will start off very nicely. You'll have all your uncles and brothers and sisters and mums and dads all come through, or your great uncle Bach Molifu or whatever come through, and that will all be nice and everything will be great. But the more you use it, you'll find you'll go down a darker passage, and in the end that will become quite evil, because everything, if you think everything in spirit is happy and full of light, trust me, it's not. Okay, there's good and bad over there as well, same as in life. But the only trouble with Ouija boards is you can sometimes open portals with them. If you open a portal in your house, even people like me will have a hard job closing it. Okay, it's not an easy thing to do, so it's best not to play around with these boards because they're dangerous. Okay.
Yeah. There's a reason why in every horror movie, as soon as they close the Ouija board or try to do it, everyone ends up being murdered, or that they play it up dramatically because you're supposed to listen to that warning. It's not a good thing. you don't do that.
Do not use Ouija boards.
They're not a game and they're not fun. It's a serious thing.
Actually, I would go as far as to say they're the devil's board. Yeah, they're the devil's board.
This one is relevant to our channel in general, and that's that ghosts only come out at night. They're not around during the day at all. They are on night shift.
Oh, they're on night shift? No, they're not. They're here all the time, 24/7. They're here. We're sitting in a haunted room as it is. in a snooker room, actually, in a local social club. And this is haunted. And I know if we done an investigation here, we'd pick up ghosts or spirits. Now they're around 24/7. The only thing about going at night is maybe you could pick up more signs of them because it's dark. If they're translucent and that sort of stuff, you might be able to pick them up better where you wouldn't do in the day. But trust me, they're here all the time. They'll talk to you during the day and say, well, at night. And you see a lot of these shows where they're in the woods in the middle of the night and there's all these noises. They're not ghosts, they're animals.
Probably foxes.
They're foxes. Have you ever heard a fox scream? Sounds like like a woman's being murdered. Now, if you was in the middle of the wood and you heard that, you'd crap your pants because you would think somebody's being murdered in the wood, but it's not. It's a fox.
Yeah, and I think with nighttime investigations as well, it's a lot easier to, if you're afraid of the dark, to get yourself in a situation where you're already spooked.
Yeah.
So then you're more likely to find things scary. Like, you're more likely to see, I don't know, a shadow of something that was just like a leaf moving, and you'll think, oh my god, that's a person over there. And
the mind
psychological.
is a very, very, very funny instrument, and you can actually, in your mind, frighten yourself more in your mind than what's around you. You know what I mean? You could be in a very, very nice place, but if you really use your mind, you can frighten yourself to death with it.
Yep. Ghosts are a scary thing.
They're only as scary as you want them to make them. Again, going back to the nighttime thing, if you think you're say we're in this room and it's pitch black, and we were picking up something and an apparition appeared, say in the corner, most people would run off.
Yep.
That would frighten you to death, right? Even I would go, oh my word, you know, that's something else. So, are they all scary? No.
Some of them are quite nice.
If you think about it, if you had a visit from one of your relations that you love very much, wouldn't you find that quite rewarding to think that you'd interacted with them again or something like that? So why do people go and see people like me, spiritual mediums, if they're frightened? But there again, I get people who in the audience who are cacking themselves and won't give them a message straight from the heart, from somebody, from spirit, and they turn it down. And afterwards they come up to you and go, that was my mum, that was my dad. And you think, why didn't you take it? Because they're frightened. To be frightened of ghosts, okay, is in the mind. In the mind. You're not dealing with demons. You know, it's a different story of being on that. But a normal spirit, on the whole, will not hurt you.
It kind of comes down to a bit of a fear of the unknown, doesn't it? Because you can't see them. Like, they're not visually around you all the time, and they're not physical either. They're kind of more like ethereal, aren't they? They're not physically there.
It's because you don't understand.
Yeah.
Because you can't. You think everything in science is what we understand. But when you get out of that understanding, it comes the unknown. And the unknown, your mind, plays tricks and gives you perceptions of what you think it is. And then that's what gives you the fear.
Yeah.
So you've got to get that fear out of your mind. And the other thing is, I would say, and you said this earlier to me, you're more frightened of people than ghosts. Honestly, there's more people out there who will hurt you than there is spirit people on the other side. So just look at it that way. There's more people out there hurt you than there is ghosts.
The next one is that all spirits are tormented souls.
No, that's not true. They're not tormented. Like we said earlier, some don't know they're passed over. Some do. Some choose to be here because they're too frightened to pass on over, because they're worried what's going to be waiting for them on the other side. They might have been or done bad things in this world, and now they're passed over, don't want to go to the light because they're worried what retribution they're going to get when they get over there. So, what was the question again?
That they're all tormented.
No, they're not. No, not in the slightest. Some are tormented because they want an answer to something. Somebody killed them, somebody done something really nasty to them, and they want that person brought to justice. They might not go over until they get that justice. In the end of the day, no, they're not tormented at all. Not many.
You can be a ghost or a spirit attached to this world without having had something terrible happen to you. You can still be here.
Some people die and don't want to go over. You know.
Yeah. Might have just loved your house, or
yeah,
love the area, and you just want to stay.
You do get instances where you go into a house and it's a person who lived there before. They love their house so much they don't want to let it go. They love being there. The church at Little Wenham.
Yeah.
The woman from the big house is still at that church. She doesn't want to go over. I give her the option of going over, and she turned it down. She's quite happy there. She's not in torment. She's happy to be with her church she loves. So no, they're not all in torment.
That ghosts are not real. They're completely fake. Everyone's been faking it since the dawn of time.
I don't know, they've done a good job, haven't they?
Yeah. Every single culture in the world has been faking that ghosts are real.
I think if you look back into history and some of the first writings, there's mention of ghosts. I think there's even mentions of ghosts in the Bible. Yeah. So no, they've been with us from the start of mankind. I bet you there was even ghosts in cavemen times. I bet there was. You know?
Dinosaur ghosts.
No, not quite that far back. But, no, when men first appeared, I think that they've been with us ever since. I think, going back on what I was saying earlier, a lot of the stuff on YouTube and on the internet is fake. You know, you can see it. And with this modern technology we've got today, you know, because this girl's pretty good with this sort of stuff.
Oh, thanks.
And yeah, you are. And you can put anything you like on film now.
Yeah.
It's very hard. Very hard. So, they're right there. Yeah, they're right there. Trust me. Yeah.
That actually does lead into the next one, which is that all paranormal evidence is faked.
No. I know we don't fake anything we do.
No.
And I can say that with hand on heart. We try and do everything to the book, as they say.
Yeah.
You know, I've said this, people go, oh, he's moving them days and months, he's spinning that thing. We don't. We really do
yeah,
try.
your hands shake a little bit naturally.
They're gonna do.
It's not like you would have to.
Yeah, you'd have to be going like this or like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You know? No, we don't fake. I would say a good 50% to even 70% is fake. There's some very, very good channels on YouTube, and there's some very, very dodgy ones too, and I think there's more dodgy. And I'm sorry about the noise, because it's very busy out here today.
Road, yeah.
So saying about it's all fake, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of fakery out there because they want you to watch it. You know, they want you to watch it, so they make their money. You know, the smaller channels don't. So you just have to be careful what you watch, and remember, a good 3/4 of it is fake.
Yeah, I think when you're watching paranormal stuff, the primary goal of it is entertainment. That's the primary goal, is just to be something that is interesting to watch. And I think if you kind of want like a real paranormal experience, you might find that more with people who aren't like creating TV shows, people who are like genuine and have experienced those things personally.
Could you imagine, Amy, if you had a television program and you went out and you had to put a show out every week and you never had any evidence?
No one would
week
watch
after
it.
week. How many people would say, oh, I can't wait for the Ghost Hunter twits to come on because they're so good? And you sit there, nothing. Not a thing. How long would you keep with that show? So they have to egg it up to get you to watch.
You wouldn't get any funding. They'd just get somebody else on who would fake it to be on the show.
Ghost hunters are a little like fishing. A little bit like fishing, right?
Yeah.
You go fishing, you sit at the side of a lake all day and you catch one fish, right? But you're happy because you're being out there and you know. It's the same for us. We can go out there and you could do an investigation on the whole bill and spend a week and get nothing. Because it's not haunted. but you can go to another place and you're overwhelmed, the same as if you was on your little lake and you was catching fish every 5 minutes. That's the difference.
Yeah, this one's to do with both of us, and that's that you have to have some form of special ability to be able to see or interact with spirits.
No, you don't. I sat with a 14-year-old girl this Sunday, and she'd never seen a crystal and she'd never spun a crystal. Within half an hour she was sitting there spinning a crystal and asking questions, and that was answering. Mm-hmm. No, you don't. You don't need any ability spiritually to do it. You just need a logical head, a level head, and really look at it logically and not go over the top with it.
Yeah. Because
it's all got to be done scientifically as best you can, because that's the only way we're going to prove that there's these spirits. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I think a lot of people have seen spirits and spoken to them and not even known.
No.
Like, you wouldn't even be aware that they were spirits.
No.
So,
no.
It's interesting.
It's
they're around you, so...
All the time.
Spirits are only humans that have passed over.
No. Right, oh my God.
It's a difficult one.
It's a difficult one, this one. You have elementals, okay, which have never been human and never will be human. They're more attached to the earth, mm-hmm. you know. And now they're getting into the realm, and I don't believe this too much, but we're getting in the realms of fairies, elves, wood creatures, you know, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'm not getting into that because I'm not 100% sure on that one myself.
Yeah. There are shamans, though, aren't there? That I think they talk to elementals.
Yeah,
sort of.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you think these people who believe in earth spirits and stuff like that, I do think there's something in that, and I think there's there is something in it. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. There's something out there in the Mother Earth and whatever. I think it's all intertwined and all intertwined.
It's all to do with the energy. That's what it comes back to, isn't it? It's
go back to energy again. Yeah. Everything is energy. We're energy. You know, this camera is energy. Everything around us is energy.
You guys are energy.
You guys are energy too, you know. Right, that's all I'm saying on that one. That's a tricky one.
Last one, this is a controversial one. Again, we're talking about TV shows and over-egging it. The correct way to respond to paranormal activity is with fear. So running away, shouting and screaming, and not filming anything, dropping your camera on the floor. Like you're in a movie.
There's a very, on television, there's a very big show on television. Okay, so all I'm saying, it's American. I've watched them all the years they've been going. I'm not going to say who it is, you know who it is anyway. There's a big one on there. And just lately, I've turned off, I don't watch them anymore. Because as they go into all these places to do these investigations, and they get wilder and wilder and more excitable and more shouting out and going crazy, and I'm watching it thinking, for God's sake, just do the freaking investigation, show it to us. We don't need all this running around like chickens without heads, or they keep getting affected by it and they're rolling on the floor and they're feeling ill and all this sort of stuff. So
I mean,
I'm a little bit deterred at the moment with some of them.
Well, you can't state that you, again, not going to name names, but that your team has got evidence and then not film any of said evidence, and then by the end of the show still call it evidence. It's not evidence if you didn't look at it. If there's no actual proof of it, that is not evidence.
And they run away.
Mm-hmm.
God's sake, stand your ground.
Film it.
Film it.
That's what you're doing this for.
You would have thought after all those years of being out there in the most crazy places, insane asylums, prisons, everything, that by now they would have grown a backbone, but they haven't, because they don't want a background because they want to let you see them running around like turkeys. So they think that's what you want, but we don't. We want to see evidence, hard friggin' evidence. And if they didn't run around like this and be crazy, maybe they would get the proper evidence to prove that spirits really do exist.
Oh, the table's floating. We won't show you the underneath of the table though, but believe us, it's floating.
The one I can remember is a scene in one of the British ones, and they're in this house, and it was supposed to be the most poltergeist house in Britain, and he was dragged up the stairs, right, and pulled away, and they said that was evidence, right, but when that was slowed down and he looked, he was being pulled on a bit of string.
You could see it.
You could see it, and they handed that over as evidence. Honestly,
was that a live show? I think
it
that was a
might
live
have
show they
been,
tried
yeah.
to pull that off on,
Yeah,
I think, as well.
yeah, that was just. I just looked at it and thought, I can't watch this anymore.
Yeah, you have to take it with a grain of salt. Just watch it for entertainment purposes.
Entertainment.
If
That's all
you
it
really
is.
want evidence, come watch us. No, I'm joking. Find some people who actually care about communicating with spirits and who aren't in it for the money, is all I'm going to say on that one.
That's another thing. Money with a lot of these shows. It's all about money. It's all about generating money. Lots of money. If you look at some of these people who are doing it, they've got shows, they've got money, they've got everything they want in life, but they have to egg it because you won't watch it. Yeah, I think
We're
we have to
out
do
of
this in a
statements.
two-part thing.
It
I
may
think.
go up in a two-parter. You'll know about it because you're watching it. So. All right then, that's it. So I guess we'll see you in the next video, which I'm not sure what that's going to be. It might be an investigation. Who knows?
Who knows? But you will know one thing: we won't over-egg it,
We won't be running away.
and we won't be running away. Are
Cameras in our face.
you? Yeah, you go, "Ah." No. So, bye.
Bye.
Is there anybody else here?
Mary, was that you?
If there's anybody here from the spirit world who'd like to talk to us, we come with love and peace.
A lot of people who are alive at the moment constantly ask the question of, is there life after death? Do you know the answer to that?